The Brilliant World of Tom Gates. Read it and go ha ha ha. This book, Tom Gates, is worth at least 10 merits, if not more. Even though I only live 4 minutes away from my school, I'm often late. My school, Oakfield, is just 2 streets away from me. It takes 2 minutes to go to the shop, but then we stop for snacks, and another 2 minutes to school. This is usually because me and Derek, my best mate and next door neighbor, chat a bit. Okay, a lot, on the way. Sometimes it's because we get distracted by delicious fruit chews and caramel waffles at the shop. Occasionally, it's because I've had loads of other very important things to do. For instance, this is what I did this morning, my first day back to school. Woke up, listened to music, played my guitar, rolled out of bed very slowly, of course, looked for socks, looked for clothes, played some more guitar, realized I hadn't done my holiday reading homework, panicked, thought of a good excuse for lack of homework. Phew! Annoyed my sister Delia, which I admit did take up a very large chunk of the morning. Time well spent though. Hid Delia's sunglasses, took my comic book into the bathroom to read it, while Delia waited outside. When Mom shouts, "Tom, you're late for school!" Run past Delia, who's still waiting outside the bathroom and quite cross. Now, ignore her sisterly love. She shouts at me, "Creep!" Save precious time by not brushing hair, not brushing teeth for a very long time, not kissing Mom goodbye, too old for that kind of stuff anyway. Eat the last piece of toast, then grab my packed lunch and bike, shout bye to anyone who can hear me. Then bike to school in about 2 minutes, which is a new Tom Gates world record! Yeah! And this is the really good bit. Amy Porter has just arrived too. I am so pleased to see her after the holidays. I smile in what I think is a nice, friendly, cheery way. Amy is not impressed. She looks at me like I'm weird. Definitely not, I am. Me smiling. Hi, Amy. This is a bad start to my day. Then it gets even worse. Mr. Fullerman, my form teacher, makes the whole class stand out our room. He says, "Welcome back, Class 5F. I've got a big surprise for all of you," which is never good news. Oh no! He's rearranged all the desks. I'm now sitting right in front of the class. Worse still, Marcus Meldrew is next to me. This is a disaster. How am I going to draw my pictures and read my comics sitting at the back of the class? I could avoid teachers' glares. I am so close to Mr. Fullerman now that I can see up his nose. Before, Mr. Fullerman was in great distance. I was sitting at the back, reading a comment, pretending to pay attention. Now, Mr. Fullerman is glaring at me with his beady eyes. He can see everything in front of me. Worse still, Marcus Meldrew is sitting next to me. And if that's not bad enough, Marcus Meldrew is the most annoying boy in the whole school. He is so nosy and thinks he knows absolutely everything. Marcus Meldrew is already annoying me. He is looking over my shoulder while I'm writing this. He is still looking. And then I write, "Yes, Marcus, I am writing about you. Marcus Meldrew has a face like a mouse. Marcus Meldrew has a face like a moose. You know what? Moosey Marcus." He stopped looking now, thank God. But on the other side of me, the good news is I'm sitting next to Amy Porter, who is very smart and nice, even though she didn't seem thrilled to see me this morning. Brilliant! At least I can have a sneak look over her shoulders for a few right answers. I think she is looking at me now. So I write, "Nice. Amy Porter Sister is smart. She's not looking. She's ignoring me, I think. So might as well stop writing nice things now and draw a doodle instead. This cheers me up a lot, drawing. I draw, Marcus gets squished by a big monster. Then Mr. Fullerman says, as you can see, I've changed a few things around. Don't I know it? Then he begins to take the register. Usually I would take this opportunity to draw a few cool pictures or take out my comic book for a quick read. But I am so close to Mr. Fullerman and his beady eyes that I have to wait until he finishes and walks to the back of the class before I can start doodling in my book. Okay, he's gone now, of course. I'm thinking of names to call my band that Derek and I are in. We're not very good yet, but if we can think of a really good name, that will make us seem extra cool. How about Alien Twins, The Foot Fighters, or even Dog Zombies? Mr. Fullerman interrupts my drawings. I've turned the page over so fast that he can't see it, and hands in the first piece of homework we have to do this term, grown. The letter says, Holiday Story Writing. Welcome back, Class 5F. Today I would like you to write a story about what did you do on your summer holidays. Did you go away? Did you visit your family? What was the weather like and where did you stay? Remember to describe everything in lots of details. I am really looking forward to reading all about your holiday, Mr. Fullerman. My holiday wasn't a great success, but it does have a very happy ending. Here goes. Camping sucks. This year, Dad said, let's go camping. It's cheap. Mom didn't seem that keen, but I've never been camping before, so I was looking forward to it. Dad and I went to the camping shop to buy a few essentials, items like tent, sleeping bag, cooking stuff, fishing rod, and I've added a few stuff of my own, TV and computer. I hope he wouldn't realize. We don't need much, he said. But the camping shop had some cool stuff, and Dad got carried away. He spent a lot of money and made me promise not to tell Mom. We could have stayed in a nice hotel. To them, it would have been cheaper, Dad said. Not the same as sleeping under the stars and waking up in the fresh air, said the man in the shop taking Dad's money. Me and Dad were carrying tons of stuff, kitchen sink, family tent, stuff, more stuff, even more stuff, loads more stuff. On top of everything Dad bought, Mom packed a whole lot more. The car was stuffed. My sister Delia wasn't happy about coming with us. She's not allowed to stay in the house on her own because she had a wild party the last time Mom and Dad went away. I stayed next door with Derek. His parents got woken up and weren't happy either. We set off, and for a while the holiday was going well. Then we took the wrong turning and got lost. Mom blamed Dad for not listening to her properly. Dad blamed Mom for not reading the map the right way. They both blamed each other. It was only when the car got a flat tire that they stopped arguing. They phoned the car rescue service, who eventually turned up. It took ages to fix the tire, and we didn't make it to the campsite until it was dark. Delia wasn't happy. Delia's never happy. She said the place looked wrong and she couldn't get a signal for her phone. I thought it looked okay, so I helped Dad with the tent while Mom unpacked the car. Delia did nothing, of course. The tent was tricky to put up, but we did the best we could. It was a bit late to eat. Dad said, I'll book a big breakfast in the morning, but my stomach kept rumbling and I couldn't get to sleep. Then I remembered the secret stash of biscuits in my bag, so I grabbed them and ate them all. Crumbs got everywhere in the bag, and it was very uncomfortable in my sleeping bag. Even though we had a family tent with separate rooms, Delia could hear me shifting around and fidgeting. It was really annoying her. Brilliant! So I did some more, but at the same time I could also hear Mom and Dad snoring, and that was keeping me awake too. The noise was so awful, it seemed getting louder and louder. It was almost like thunder, deep and rumbly. Then I realized it sounded like thunder, because it was thunder, which was getting closer. There was lightning too, and really heavy rain that was right above our tent. The storm was huge, and it didn't take long for the tent to blow away. Everyone had to run to the car for cover. The storm lasted all night, and everything we got was wet and muddy. Dad had pitched the tent right next to a stream, which flooded all over our stuff and which got soaked. Nobody slept at all. It was miserable. The campsite had a arrow pointing that way, but our tent was camped right in front of the stream, so you can probably spot the problem. In the morning, Dad tried to get his money back from the campsite owner as we slept in the car. He complained a lot, but it didn't work. Mom collected our soggy belongings, which were all ruined, including the tent. I could hear her muttering things like "proper holiday next year" and "Greece" under her breath. Delia was crying again because her mobile phone had got wet and wasn't working. That cheered me up, so I decided to try and make the best of the holiday and go exploring. There were lots of interesting looking trees to climb. I was nearly at the top of one when suddenly a branch snapped under my foot. I hadn't realized how high up I was until I fell down. It was pretty impressive, really. Delia held me up as I hit the ground. She came over and watched me as I rolled around on the ground in pain, holding my arm. Freak! It really felt bad, but Delia didn't look too concerned. Eventually, she got Mom. Mom said, "All right, that's all I need," and she took me to the first aid net. They gave me a lolly and put a bandage around my arm. I was very brave. It looked our camping holiday was going to be very short. More rain was due, so Mom and Dad decided under the circumstances, no tent or dry clothes, we should go home. I wasn't that upset, and Delia was delighted. So we all packed up and left the campsite. On the way home, we stopped off in a nice restaurant where I managed to eat a huge pizza with one good arm. My bad arm was really hurting, but I didn't complain because it was the first time in ages that everyone looked happy. Our neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Fingal and Derek, were very surprised to see us back so soon. My bad arm was so painful now that I went to my room to look at it. Worryingly, it had turned purple and swollen up like a balloon. I showed Mom and Dad. They looked shocked. Delia said, "You look like a freak," which was kind of her. Mom and Dad got back in the car and drove me to the hospital, leaving Delia alone. Luckily, my arm's not that serious. I had just sprained it, and the bandage was put on too tight. So they redid it and put it on very cool sling instead. I'll live, apparently. It was quite late by the time we got home. There was music blasting from our house. Mom and Dad were furious. Delia had invited lots of her friends round for a party, and boy was she in trouble. I forgot all about my sore arm because listening to Delia being told off and grounded by Mom and Dad was probably the best part of my whole entire holiday. They said things like, "What were you thinking? You're grounded. And I was like, yes! The end. It sounds like you had a very eventful time, Tom. Excellent work. I felt like I was there, but glad I wasn't. 5 minutes. 5 merits. Mr. Fullerman. 5. I got 5 merits. Wow, Mr. Fullerman liked my story. I've never had 5 merits before. I leave my book open so Amy Porter can see how clever I am, but she doesn't seem too interested. Maybe this will help. I got 5 merits! No, she's still not looking. Merits saying he's got 5 merits as well. Great, I say. We're like twins now. He's so annoying. I show Mom and Dad my story because I think they'll be pleased with me for a change. Instead, Mom gives me a note to give to Mr. Fullerman. This is what it says. Dear Mr. Fullerman, we are delighted Tom got 5 merits. Also, we can say this is not the usual type of holiday we have. We are actually very responsible parents. Tom's arm is fine now, in case you are wondering, and in case he tries to get out of doing PE. Kind regards, Mr. and Mrs. Gates. I think Mom was worried my story made them look bad. Break time! I am catching up with a few friends who I haven't seen over the holiday. Mark Lump got another pet, but he won't tell me what it is. Norman Watson not allowed to eat sweets or anything with numbers in because they make him go really wild. But I can see him running around the playground with his jumper over her head shouting, I'm a spaceman! I'm a spaceman! Which makes me think he's already had a few sneaky sweets today. Solomon Stewart, his nickname's Solid. He's the tallest boy in the whole school. He has grown even more, I think. Then Derek comes over. He's in Miss Worthington's class, not mine, because we chat too much. I've seen him loads during the holidays. His hair has grown. He hasn't. I show him my ideas and drawings for band name. He likes Dog Zombies the best. Me too! Yay! When Marcus Meldrew barges into our chat, what's that? Ideas for our band, I say. What band? Me and Derek are in a band and we're thinking of something to call ourselves. That's easy. Really? Marcus has an idea. Yeah, you can just call yourself the Total Loser. Ha 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 ha, says Marcus, who's even more annoying this year than he was last year, if that's possible. Marcus was being an absolute twit. Homework already from Mr. Fullerman. It's like we never had a holiday. Homework. It says, I'd like you all to write a review. It could be a review of a book, play, concert, or film. Something you have seen or read. Ask yourself lots of questions. Describe the film, book, concert. What did you like or not like? What was it about? Looking forward to reading them very much. Mr. Fullerman. I'll see what's on telly tonight and then read the newspaper review. That's always a good start. Sitting so close to Mr. Fullerman is already proving tricky for me because I'm forced to work. It's exhausting. Mr. Fullerman's shadow is on my page. Amy doesn't seem thrilled to be sitting next to me. Maybe if she sees me working, she'll think I'm smart. I will try to impress her. She just caught me sneaking a look at her work. I pretend to be drawing, but I've been rumbled. I'll draw something funny. Mr. Fullerman with hair. I draw Mr. Fullerman with all types of hair: curly hair, afro hair, bald hair, spiky hair, straight hair, curled hair. Amy's still not impressed though. After lessons, I meet Derek by the bike shed. Our bikes are very cool. Mine's covered in stickers and doodles. Derek's is a bit battered but super fast. There's a very odd looking bike in the shed, which catches our eye, not in a very good way. It's covered in fur and fluff with silly wobbly eyes and weird bits hanging from the handles. It looks like Marcus, Derek laughs. Or Norman Watson wants sweets, I say. Bet it belongs to a little new kid who doesn't know any better, says Derek. What kind of person would have a stupid looking bike like that? We both laugh. But Amy Porter is not laughing because it's her bike. School caretaker Stan is shaking his head and tutting in a disapproving way, which makes his keys jangle. Because I have upset Amy again, she calls me an idiot and takes her bike away. I say sorry, but Amy ignores me. She ignored my 5 merits too. It's been a terrible day. On the way home, I see posters for my favorite band 2-3 all over town. Even this doesn't cheer me up. Derek does his best to make me laugh, but all I can think about is Amy calling me an idiot, which is harsh. And Marcus calling us losers. Look on the bright side, Derek says, while acting as if he is a turtle so I could laugh. But when I ask Derek what the bright side is, actually, he doesn't know. It's a saying. Great. All I have to think of is to make it up to Amy, which is not gonna be easy. Band practice with Derek tonight might not be so good, because there's nothing that will cheer me up. Not a thing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've had a bad day so far. I've been grumpy. Mom's bought caramel waffle, fantastic! Hooray! My favorite, brilliant! Hooray! 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 I've suddenly cheered up. Derek and I eat 2 caramel waffles each and drink some squash. Perfect preparation for band practice. Mom tells me to leave one for Delia. As if. Instead, I take the last one out and show Derek my favorite waffle biscuit trick, which goes like this. Listen carefully. Remove wafer biscuit from wrapper and wrapper really carefully. Eat last wafer biscuit before Delia comes home, half each. Carefully refold wrapper to look like wafer is still inside. Watch Delia open the empty wafer wrapper. My trick worked a treat. I can hear Delia moaning to Mom about me downstairs, so I take this as an opportunity to sneak into her room and borrow a few copies of Rock Weekly for Derek and me to look at. Good inspiration for band practices. There are loads of good pictures of bands inside. We take turns trying out a few rock star poses. Some of them are more successful than others. Delia's sunglasses. We mustn't forget to do this week's homework. Write a review. Should be easy. Mr. Fullerman, I am very, very sorry. You'll never guess what happened. I had just finished writing my homework review when I accidentally spilled the biggest glass of water all over it. I am very upset as it was a very good review, probably worth at least 5 minutes, if not 6. Oh dear, Tom, what a mess. I will look forward to seeing it redone for tomorrow. Watch out for these big basket glasses of water in the future. My homework is squaffled with water. I think I got away with that excuse. We'll definitely do it for tomorrow. I actually didn't do it. I just wrote anything and spilt water over it. Clever boy I am. Art. Art now it is. Brilliant! As it's one of my favorite lessons, Mr. Fullerman would like us all to draw self-portrait. These will be put around the whole school for everyone to see and laugh at probably. Mr. Fullerman has out small mirrors so we can all look at ourselves while we're drawing, which is not easy at all. The class are all concentrating and quiet for a change, apart from Norman Watson, who keeps shining his mirror in other people's faces, so he moved. Then Miss Worthington, Derek's teacher, comes in and takes over from Mr. Fullerman, who goes off to do something more important, like drink coffee and read newspapers. Miss Worthington sometimes takes us for math. She's always very enthusiastic about everything. She's being very enthusiastic now. Hello, hello, lovely class F. I'm looking forward to seeing all of your lovely pictures. She sings to us happily. Because I like art and drawing, I'm working extra hard. Amy's self-portrait looks a bit odd. She doesn't look like that at all. She's drawn herself as a 6-year-old would. She has scruffy hair, big eyes that are sticking together, and small arms. Hers is still better than Marcus. He's drawn himself with a very big head. Well, that's a bit true in life. Scrumptious hair, a tiny body, gigantic nose, even bigger than his eyes, half a mouth, and 2 ears with a gigantic head. Miss Worthington sees I finished my portrait and comes over to take a closer look. What a marvelous picture, Tom! She sings. Mr. Fullerman will be pleased, she adds. But I'm not listening to her, because I've suddenly noticed that this close-up, Miss Worthington has something on her top lip that looks a bit, well, like a mustache. Ew! I'm trying really hard not to stare. It's tricky not to. Don't stare. Don't stare. Look at the face, not the mustache. Tom, why don't you do another wonderful portrait? Good idea. Only this time really think about the person you're drawing. And don't forget to put lots of detail. Okay, Miss Worthington, I'll do my best. Miss Worthington, I drew her with her being grumpy, same life, same everything, but a close-up and saying she has a mustache. I'm getting the feeling that Miss Worthington doesn't like my portrait very much, or me now. Letter home, Oakfield School, R.E., Tom Gates. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Gates, I'm very sorry to inform you that Tom has a detention tomorrow lunch. This is due to the unfortunate portrait he drew of me. I do hope Tom will learn a lesson that there is a big difference between drawing a portrait with detail and just being rude. Yours sincerely, Miss Worthington. Lesson learned. Don't let teachers see my drawings in the future. When I get home, Dad already knows about my detention because Miss Worthington has phoned home. And even more bad news, Delia took the phone call, so she knows about it too. Great! Like the letter wasn't enough. Miss Worthington might as well just announce my detention on a plane. Tom has a detention! So everyone could know. Or a hot air balloon, so everyone in the whole town knows. Oh my God, why? Dad tells Mom, and now Derek isn't allowed to come round for band practice tonight. And she's making me do an extra chore. Sweep the kitchen or take out the bins. Which smell? Some choice. Delia is loving this. She keeps saying "didams" to me in a really stupid baby voice, which is driving me crazy. But I can't let her see that, or she's going to keep saying it all night long. Probably tomorrow too. And the next day, Dad gives me one of the little chats and tells me if I don't work hard at school, I'll end up like him. Not such a bad thing if you ask me, because Dad's got a pretty good job. He has his own office. Well, it's a shed in our garden where he works. Where he works on his computer designing stuff. Occasionally, he gets to work in other people's office. Mom likes it when that happens because he looks smarter and earns more money. I prefer when Dad works at home because a secret stash of caramel waffles in the shed that I eat and Mom doesn't know about. So there I am sweeping the kitchen floor and Granny Mavis pops over to borrow a cookbook. "Hello, Tom. Just popping by to pick up a cookbook. I call my granny and granddad the fossils because they are both very old and very ancient. You never use cookbooks, Mom says in a surprised way. I'm inviting the whole family for lunch, Granny says. Really? Oh dear, that's not really very good. Let me explain. Fossils alert! Whee! Granny Mavis says as she goes off in her mobility scooter. Granny Mavis and Granddad Bob are not the usual kind of grandparents, especially when she comes to me. They like to experiment and eat very odd combinations of food. Tea on cornflakes saves time, apparently. Pear, onion equals soup. Ugh, more on that later. Also, Granny is just rubbish at cooking, so Mom loads her up with a pile of cookbooks in hopes she might actually follow a real recipe. I'm still sweeping the sweeping and trying to make a Granny feel sorry for me by doing a sad face. Hopefully she'll slip me a bit of extra money. Granny does that sometimes, but Mom is telling her why I'm sweeping the kitchen. Oh dear, she says when she knows, and Mom keeps telling her about the rude drawing. Detention, blah blah blah, drawing, blah blah blah, mustache, blah blah blah, heard it 1,000 times. And now she wants me to go and get milk. Work, work, work. So Granny can have a cup of tea. Luckily, Granny gives me extra pocket money to buy a treat for myself. Result! In the shop, I'm deciding how to spend my money treat. Sweets, caramel wafers. When I spot this month's copy of Rock Weekly, and on the cover is the best band in the whole wide world, Do 3. I have to buy it, and there's even enough money left for 2 fruit chews as well. Brilliant! When I get home, Mom asks, "Where's the milk?" Suddenly I remember why I went to the shop and I hide my copy of Rock Weekly. The shop had run out, I say. Phew! Quick thinking. Must tell Derek about Do 3. Granny Mavis has hot water with a slice of carrot instead, which is a bit bonkers even for her. I have a read on the whole interview with Do 3, and I cannot believe they're actually coming to play a concert in our town. I go to the computer to listen to their latest tracks and see what else they're playing. This is amazing! Derek is online and is just as excited as I am. Do 3, Do 3, Do 3! Woohoo! Derek says. And I respond, "Can't wait, dude, man. We'll so be there," Derek says. "Me too. Brilliant. Can I read your mag after school?" "Yeah." I say, "Spread the Do 3 word. That calling time for burnt food." Derek responds, "Pretend it's fast food and eat it really fast. Lol." I say, "Haha. Give it to Delia. She won't see it with her dark glasses. Freak!" Good Good news about the concert. Bad news. Me and Derek are too young to go on our own. That will probably have to come to, which is okay as long as as long as I can get him to promise not to sing, dance, or wear anything embarrassing. Which could be tricky because he likes to do all these things sometimes at the same time. He just gardens, wears something like a tramp, gets two carrots, and keeps singing, I did it my way, and dances as well. Going back to reading Greek Rock Weekly. 2-3 on to Rock Weekly caught up with the dudes while they get on to their tour, playing all their songs at 2-3 Rocks Rock Out Fever for the dudes. Without their new album, 2-3 is unstoppable. 2-3 catch the 2-3 Oakfield huge arena first. Yes, they're going to Oakfield. Woohoo! The huge arena, which is in my town. Hardly slept all night. All I can think about is 2-3 are coming to town. Fantastic. Even Delia seems excited. For her way anyway. Sad is with a frown. Happy is still with a frown. Jolly is still with a frown. As long as she doesn't stand anywhere near me, I'm not bothered. The tickets cost a lot of money, and if I'm going to get Dad to pay for them, I will be on my best behavior at all times. This will be tough, but worth it. Have the remote control, Dad. You okay? Biscuit, have you licked it? Tea, what have you broken? Me trying to make my family happy. I'm reading my copy of Rock Weekly in the bathroom while Delia is banging on the door outside the crosser. The crosser she gets, the slower I read, and I brush my teeth, which takes ages. It makes me late for school again. Worth it though, so I don't bother brushing my hair and just grab my clothes off the floor where they're crumbled. But who cares? They're just in the clothes pile. Then I stuff as much toast in my mouth as possible, and take an apple to eat on the way, which is not easy on a bike, and make it to Mr. Fullerman's class in 30 seconds to spare. Phew. I'm feeling pretty pleased with myself, so I try another cheery smile at Amy, who's for some reason makes me "you're disgusting" face at me. Why? Me smiling. Hi, Amy. Mr. Fullerman announces, I hope you all remember this your individual school photo today. No! I totally forgot. Smug mug Marcus obviously did remember. He's looking all shiny and neat. Ugh. I'm looking slightly more crumbled than usual due to my rushed start to the day. Oh well, never mind. How bad can a school photo be? I'm making bunny ears of Marcus to feel better. The whole class line up in the hall. I'm second in line after Norman Watson, who is all twitchy and jumpy. I really hope Norman's not eaten any sweets. The photographer asks Norman to stop jiggling around, please. You're making my job hard. Oh dear, he's definitely had sweets. Eventually, after loads more photographs, Norman sits still just long enough for one photo to be taken. The photographer whispers, "This is gonna be a very long day." Then it's my turn. Florence Mitchell, another super smart girl, and Amy are watching me along with the rest of the class. I have an idea. I would try and look and all mean and moody, a bit like the photos of Do 3 in Rock Weekly. Brilliant! But the photographer is not impressed and tells me to cheer up, my boy. So I try and smile a bit. Then he says really loudly, "Oh dear, you've got something nasty stuck between your teeth." What a shame. He walks over and hands me a mirror. Could this be any more embarrassing? Better do something with that mitty hair too. Here's a comb. Now everyone is looking at me. It just got a lot more embarrassing. What a shame. I've got toast crumbs round my mouth and bits of apple skin stuck between my teeth. Why didn't Amy tell me? And now I've gone bright red too. So much for a cool school photo. It's going to be hideous. The photographer takes my picture and I can't get out of the hall fast enough. I have humiliated myself in front of the entire class. Now I will be forced to hide this school photo from everyone for the rest of my life, especially Mom. She likes to send my school photos to all relatives across the whole wide world. That would be a disaster. There are second cousins in Outer Mongolia who have my school photos on the walls. Break time! I'm looking for Derek in the playground, and I can't find him anywhere. His bike is in the shed, so I know he's here. I wonder if his school photo was bad as mine. Impossible! I asked Solomon Solid Stewart, the tallest boy in the whole school, if he can see him. Solid points to a boy on the climbing frame. He looks a bit like Derek, but it can't be him because his top button is done and he's got a horrible neat side parting. Mom made me, Derek says, for the school photo. Shame. Then Derek hangs upside down on the climbing frame and his hair goes back to normal, which is just as well because no one in Dog Zombies should ever have a neat side parting like that. More importantly, Derek and I chat about how Dude 3 are the best band ever, how we really need to go and see them, how Dog Zombies need to practice more to become the best band ever, Biscuits. Which are better, chocolate hobnobs or caramel waffles? Which biscuit to eat at band practice, chocolate or caramel? Who cares about stupid school photos anyway? Maths again. Mr. Fullerman hands out our maths worksheet. On the outside, I'm forcing myself to look fascinated and interested in Mr. Fullerman's sums, when really on the inside, I'm still reliving the humiliation that was my school photo over and over again. That was such a hideous school photo. I wish it was the end of the school right now, so to cheer myself up, I drew a few more band logos and ideas. I'm careful to do some sums as well, so it looks like I'm working out my answers. Which one do I choose? Dog Zombies with a dog next to it, Dog Zombies on a dog. Look, a dog, what's a zombie? Nice, that could be our slogan. Dog Zombie written all over a dog. And then 10 plus 10 equals 20. I'm a genius! Marcus is straining his head and trying to look over my shoulder so he can see what I'm doing. So I write, "Get lost, Marcus." He's still looking, so I write, "Marcus plus Marcus equals idiot." He stopped looking. Mr. Fullerman is looking at me now, so I put my arm right over my drawings and do a few more sums. 10 times 10 is 100. I am super smart. And then I draw Zombie Marcus, which is actually an improvement. Then some more band logos. Marcus is leaning back in his chair now to see over my arm. I think he can see my doodles, so I turn my back on him. He leans forward, then I lean back, and he puts his head on the table as if he can see under my arm. Marcus, stop trying to look at Tom's work and concentrate on your own. Yes, Marcus, no cheating. Serves him right. Then, while the attention is on Marcus, I take the chance to have a sneaky glance at Amy's sums and memorize a few answers. At least this way I will definitely get some more sums right. Then I carry on my drawings. I'll show them to Derek later. This maths lesson is turning out to be quite good after all. Result: Mr. Keene is Oakfield School headmaster. He likes to pop into classes to see what we're up to. Today, he decides to say hello to Class 5F, us. Luckily, I have some impressive looking maths in front of me, thanks mostly to Amy. Hello, Class 5F. Hello, Mr. Keene. We all respond. Mr. Keene then launches into his usual type of headmaster chat. While he does, here are a few interesting facts about Mr. Keene. He has very red face that gets redder when he gets cross. Mr. Keene gets cross quite easily. I drew even a redometer to see the different stages of redness Mr. Keene faces go through. Cross is just his cheeks slightly red, angry is his cheeks raging red, very angry is his eyebrows down, his eyes popping out, his ears red, and his cheeks red. Raging, all of his face is red, with his ears, eyebrows down, and the eyes looking like they're gonna pop out any second. Mr. Keene's eyebrows look like two hairy caterpillars crawling across his face. Mr. Keene is still chatting when my stomach starts to make really loud, grumbly, hungry noises. It's nearly lunchtime. I'm hoping he might take a hint and stop talking, but he carries on. When my stomach growls again, I pretend it's not me by staring at Marcus. Marcus, stop, I whisper, so everyone thinks he's the one with the rumbling tummy. The bell goes off for lunch, but Mr. Keene still keeps rambling on and on. I'll let you all go to lunch now, he says. About time! There's a trick to rushing down to the dinner hall without looking like you're pushing anyone out of the way. Very fast walking does the trick. I grab my lunchbox and try to take in the smell of UFOs, unidentified food objects that are being served. On Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I have packed lunch. On Thursday and Friday, I have school dinners. This is because Thursday, Amy Porter has school dinners, and on Friday, it's chips. Come on. Derek is already sitting at the table eating, so I sit next to him, and then Norman Watson sits next to me. When I open my lunchbox, there's a note inside from my Granny Mavis. Enjoy! Love, Granny. Oh no! I forgot Granny likes to help out and make my packed lunch when she visits. I wasn't there to stop her. I'm really hoping that she hasn't actually tried to cook anything out for me. Looking in my lunchbox, okay, I can see something that looks a bit like a pizza. It is a pizza, so good for far. Made in the shape of a face, I think. It's my face. Oh, come on. On the pizza, there is cheese. Okay. Tomatoes. Okay. Olives. Ugh. But that's not the worst bit. Something else that I personally don't think should ever, in a million years, be seen on a pizza. Ever. What was Granny thinking? It should never ever be put on a pizza. It's a banana. There's a banana on my pizza. Come on. There's a banana on my pizza. I take it off really quickly before anyone sees it. Because before anyone sees that banana on my pizza and thinks I'm here. Too late. Amy and Florence walk past me and they both pull pull a "that's disgusting" face at me and sit at another table. Then Norman Watson nudges me and says, "Is that a banana on your pizza?" I say, "Maybe." "Yum! I'll have it if you don't want it." So I let Norman eat my banana and don't ask any questions. Derek whispers, "That's gross," to me, but Norman seems happy enough, so I keep quiet. I eat the rest of the pizza. It is a bit banana-ish in places. Granny Mavis has a few unusual surprises for me lurking in my lunchbox. Cucumber juice in a can, lavender and tomato biscuits, and a lemon. Heck, why? Derek has some more normal food for lunch, which he shares with me. That's why he's my best mate. We're just about to go out to break when Miss Mumble, that's her real name, makes an announcement over the tannoy system. No one can understand what Miss Mumble says, so we have to listen very carefully. It says something like that. "Hello, will Tom Gates convert to see Miss Worthington? Tom Gates, thank you." I think she said Tom Gates to see Miss Worthington. She did. I forgot about my detention. No. After Miss Worthington put up all the portraits we did, not the one I did of her, obviously. When she's not looking, I add a few extra details to Marcus's portrait, which I think are great improvements. We hang them up. Rose White makes herself tiny in the middle of the page. Paul White takes up half of the page with a big head, but only till hip level. Solomon Stewart takes all the page, and with his big face and his big body, which is true. Julia Morton draws herself like a scruffy 6-year-old would. Norman Watson draws himself exactly the same, all jiggly and everything. Pansy Bennett draws herself good, but with disgusting eyes. Mark Klump draws himself with a pet. Amber Tully Green draws herself a bit too short. Amy Porter draws herself terribly. Trevor Peters draws herself too short. Brad Colway draws himself exactly as he is. Lurie Lewis draws himself kinda like he looks. Tom Gates, which is me, draws himself exactly how I look. I look amazing. Look at that hair. Florence Mitchell draws herself with a good skirt, but with a terrible small eyes. Indrani Hindle draws herself a bit too short and thin. Marcus Meldrew, well, he has still a big head and a small body, and is only to hip level, but I shaded in two of his teeth so they look missing, and I wrote above him, "I am an idiot, I am an idiot." Oh no, Mr. Fullerman's been looking in my book. "Tom, I'm sure Dog Zombies is a fantastic band, but you need to concentrate on your math in the future. By the way, I like this logo best. The one that has dog on the t-shirt and is standing on zombies. Mr. Fullerman. I make a huge effort to pay attention in lessons as I can't afford to get into any more trouble, especially if I want Dad to buy 2-3 tickets. Even though I know Mom and Dad will now use this at every opportunity to make me do stuff that I really don't want to do, like eat your vegetables if you want those 2-3 tickets. Tidy your room if you want those 2-3 tickets. Let your sister in the bathroom first if you want those 2-3 tickets. I can hear them now. Blah, 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 blah. This is not going to be easy. I'm trying to be extra good in Mr. Fullerman's lessons. I even volunteered to hand out the school trip forms. Marcus tries to grab his from me straight away. I say manners to him, then leave him until last. Making him reach for his form a few times is fun, until Mr. Fullerman gives me one of his scary glares, the teacher one. The trip actually looks it could be quite good. The letter says, Year 5 class trip to the British Museum to look at the Egyptians and mummies. Dear parent, carer, this term we will be studying the Egyptians and would like to take all classes to the British Museum as part of the project. This will be for the whole day and children will need packed lunch. We will be traveling by coach and will need helpers on the day if anyone is available. Please fill in the form below which gives your child permission to attend the trip. Many thanks, Mr. Fullerman. Tear off and return as soon as possible. I fill it in because I'll never give it to her. She's going to be a helper, of course, and I don't want to get embarrassed twice after the school photo. Child's name, Tom Gates, in bubbly letters, class 5A. I give permission for my child to go to the British Museum. Circle, yes, of course, with a happy face. Signed, Rita Gates, exactly how my mom does it. Man, that is totally good job. Print, Rita Gates, without the signature. Does your child have any allergies? Yes. If so, what are they? Do not give Tom any vegetables. Are there any medicines? If so, what? Yes, cough sweets, or just sweets would be fine. Are you able to help on the trip? No. And I scribble all over it so no one knows. All done. That was super easy. Today, Mr. Fullerman asks us to read out to our class what we did on holiday stories. I feel happy about this because I got 5 minutes for mine. It will hopefully be a good opportunity to impress Amy. Hopefully. Norman Watson reads his first. He went to Disneyland. He's so lucky. But he didn't get 5 minutes like me. Hey! Marcus Meldrew got sent away to summer camp for nearly the whole summer. I think he knows his parents as much as he knows me. I'd send him away for the whole year if I could. Julia Morton's I found an interesting shell story is not interesting at all. This lesson is starting to get a bit dull when Mark Clump stands up and reads My New Pet Snake, which gets my attention. He tells us that about the mice he keeps in the free desert to feed his snake with, and how he bought the snake, where it lives, what the snake is called. Snaky. Not very original. It's a really good story. And the best bit about the whole story is when he reaches inside his desk and brings out his pet snake. He says, Here's Snaky! It's awesome! Take my word for it. But Mr. Fullerman doesn't think so. Neither does half the class, who run out screaming. Mr. Fullerman makes Mark put away his snake, and the school office rings his mom, who comes to pick them both up, which is a shame because I really like snakes, and they didn't get to see it properly. At the end of the school, we get a note to take home. Dear parent carer, please can we remind all children and parents that no pets of any kind can be brought to school. Pets are for home, not for the classroom, especially pets that can be considered slightly scary, like snakes. Thank you, Mr. Keane, headmistress. Talking of pets, Derek is getting a new pet dog. I can't wait! Delia is allergic to dogs, so I'm not allowed to get one. But Derek can bring his dog around all the time because I really like dogs. Delia will be forced to stay in her room or she'll have to get out. Either way, she won't be around to annoy me. Perfect! Derek's dog is a bit cute and has small paws. That's why he makes small, tiny mud prints. Derek sends me a photo of his dog. He's actually pretty cute. This weekend, the whole family are having lunch at the Fossil's house. Mom is stressed about what we'll be eating, especially since I mentioned my banana pizza. Dad is stressed because his brother, my Uncle Kevin, and his family will be there. Uncle Kevin seems to know a lot of things. Dad says it's because he's a know-it-all. Auntie Alice always laughs at Uncle Kevin's jokes, even when they're not funny, which is most of the time. What do you call a man with no hair? My brother Frank. Auntie Alice laughs. Ha ha ha! You're so funny. I mean, like, oh my god. Ha ha ha! Delia is in a bad mood because she doesn't want to go. I say, Delia's got a boyfriend. Delia's got a boyfriend, which puts her in a even worse mood. Mom and Dad say she has to come. Something tells me this lunch isn't going to be much fun. Luckily, the fossils are in a very good mood and happy to see everyone, which helps a lot. Yo, kids! Hello! My twin cousins are already there and eating. They eat loads. They are even taller than Solid. I say hi to them. They don't talk much. They just wave at me. Mom asks what we're eating for lunch today. We all listen nervously. Granny announced, chicken stuffed with cheese, which is technically a chicken. Inside it, some cheese. Roasted eggs, peas on a stick. I really hope it tastes better than it sounds. We're sitting at the table when Uncle Kevin asks Dad if he's got bolder, which makes Auntie Alice laugh as usual. Dad doesn't look too happy. Granny steps in and asks, is everything okay? We say, yes, delicious, and nice things like that. But I notice no one is eating very much apart from my cousin, and Delia is secretly testing under the table. Uncle Kevin starts talking about their amazing 3-week holiday in Greece. So I tell everyone our terrible 2-day camping and how it rained and the tent was washed away because Dad stupidly put the tent up by the stream. And then how I fell out of the tree. Auntie Alice and Uncle Kevin seem to enjoy the story. Mom and Dad are glaring at me in a be quiet kind of way. Grandad changes the subject and asks me about my band. So I tell him about dog zombies, and then I tell everyone that Dude 3 are coming to play in our town. So I say, Dad is so brilliant. He's promised to buy tickets for us to see them. I say, Dad doesn't look surprised, but he doesn't say no. I'm a genius. He's the best dad. I'm a genius. Turns out that the cousins are huge fans of Dude 3 too. It's the most excited I've seen them since they won the chocolate fountain at their school fair. Hooray! Yay! Uncle Kevin suggests we all go together on a big family night out. I don't mind who I go with as long as it's just not Delia. So I say, great! But Dad doesn't look pleased at all with the idea, especially when Uncle Kevin starts going on about Dad's terrible taste in music when we were growing up. Dad is just about to say something to Uncle Kevin when Granny bursts into the room with pudding! She has to explain what pudding is, because no one can tell. It's just a massive pile of bright pink pancakes that taste okay but look like horrid raw bits of liver. On the way home, we stop for fish and chips because everyone is still hungry. Mom and Dad don't seem happy. That's miserable. No change there then. But I'm very happy because I will definitely go and see Dude 3 now. Ronnie gave me some sweets and a pound on the way out. Result. Can't wait to tell Derek. All I have to do is now is ask Amy to the concert. Woohoo! Today I was only a tiny bit late for school. Hiding Delia's sunglasses took slightly longer than usual. Slipping them into an open bag of salad was inspired. I thought Delia would never have found them if Mom hadn't been making sandwiches. I got out of the house before Delia or Mom had got a chance to tell me off. Just crept into class in time for registration. Mr. Fullerman looks up from the register and asks me why I'm late. I do what anyone would do in my position, blame my older sister for locking me in the bathroom. Mr. Fullerman makes a note of my excuse in the register and then moves on. Phew! Amy Porter isn't in the slightest bit interested in my excuse because she is too busy memorizing her spellings. Oh no, not the spelling test! Anything but the spelling test. This is not a good start to the day. I am panicking and wondering how I'm going to get through this when something brilliant happens. I look over at Mr. Fullerman's desk and I think I can see all the answers to this week's spelling test. The paper is turned over, but I can make out what the words are backwards and copy them down quickly before anyone notices. What I can see are bananas, areas, cameras, radios, umbrellas, piano, solo, fiesta, plastic, but backwards. This test will be easy peasy now. Mr. Fullerman begins the test. I'm pretending to think carefully and write them down. And straight away I realize there is a very big problem. These spellings are not the same as Mr. Fullerman's, which makes me think I've written down next week's test instead. I'm panicking. My mind's gone blank, and I've missed the first 3 spellings already. 4 spellings, 5 spellings, 6 spellings, 8, the whole test. I keep pretending to write so Mr. Fullerman doesn't suspect anything and hope for the best. If Mr. Fullerman spots that I already have the next week's test, he might smell a rat. That says cheater. The test is over and we have to swap papers with the person next to us so they can mark them. Marcus hands me his paper. Oh dear, I'm in trouble now. I have to think quickly. So I just throw all the ink in my pen over my paper. Ah, disaster has struck in the shape of a leaking pen. Mr. Fullerman makes me clean up my ink accident. Whoopsie. I get to check Marcus's test. He thinks he's done very well and is looking extra smug. Only 3 out of 8 for Marcus. Not so smug now. Amy got 8 out of 8. She's so smart. I say, wow, Amy, well done. It's winding Marcus up. You're so good at spelling, aren't you? Then Amy says, thanks, but I can't draw like you can. She actually said something nice to me, so while the class are checking spellings, I show Amy my latest dog zombies drawings and ask her to pick the best one. She chooses the same one as Mr. Fullerman. This is the longest conversation I have ever had with Amy. I'm telling her about Dude 3 and how they're playing in our town. It turns out that Amy really likes them too, which is brilliant. I'm trying to see about the best way to invite Amy to see Dude 3 when she says she likes singing. I say, I like singing too. Then she says, really? And I say, yes, I can't get enough of singing. So she suggests I join the school choir like her, and I hear myself say, that's a great idea. I'd love to join the choir. Why did I say that? Which is exactly what Derek says when I tell him, I'm joining the choir. It will be good for my singing and the band. You think so? Derek is not convinced. No, I don't think so, but I'm hoping Amy will come and see Dude 3, and I can't tell Derek that. I pass a choir practice poster on the school notice board, and I can't believe rehearsals are at lunchtime. I don't even get to miss a boring lesson or two. I'll go maybe once or twice to keep Amy happy and then drop out later on. Good plan. Oh, singing is fun. Come on, join the choir with Miss Snap. Practice is on Wednesday lunchtime in the school hall. Everyone, welcome. This is what the poster says. Oh. School assembly. It's a special assembly today. I can't believe that Marcus is getting an award for his holiday homework. This seems very unfair, as I got 5 merits as well. Mr. Keen, our headmaster, gives out prizes in front of the whole school. It will be sick making to watch Marcus being ultra smug. To make it even worse, Mr. Fullerman asks Marcus to take the register to the office now. Marcus thinks he's something special. While he's out of the class, I decide to add my own comments to his work. He's such a smug. Mr. Keen is standing in front of the whole school. He's telling us the usual sort of things that headmasters like to say. Lots of hard works, blah blah blah, looking forward to, blah blah blah. I'm sitting behind Solid, so I can't see much of what's going on. Miss Knapp leads the school into rendition of Morning Has Broken. She is another one of those very enthusiastic teachers who sways a lot from side to side while singing at the top of her voice. Morning has broken. Pansy Bennett, don't mess with Pansy. She's tough. And of course, Marcus are both getting awards. Brad Galway, who has cool hair, is sitting next to me. I tell him to keep his eyes peeled on Marcus. Shh! Mr. Fullerman is giving me the beady eye now. Mr. Keen says, today we have some very important prizes to give out. Will Treasure Alexander and Grace Skull come up and get their certificates for good work on their shared nature project? We all clap while the girls show everyone their impressive project about the frog life, who is a small thing like seeds, as they write, turn into a kind of fish. The fish gets legs, and then the tail gets smaller and has two other legs, and then the tail is so small, and then finally it's the frog we see. Will Pansy Bennett and Marcus Meldrew come up with their excellent My Holiday homework? Pansy holds up her book. It has some nice-looking writing and drawings in it. Everyone claps, then she takes her certificate. Next, Marcus holds up his work to show everyone the school. He's parading it so the whole school can see what he's written in his book. Everyone bursts out laughing, and they keep laughing. I enjoy the moment as I added in large letters, I am an idiot, in his book. Marcus takes his certificate and sits back down quickly. He's still wondering why everyone was laughing at him. I wish all assemblies were this much fun, because for a short time I forget all about promising to join the choir. It's only when the assembly is over I walk past the poster again, and then it comes all flooding back to me. Mr. Fullerman is not in a good mood now either. He suspects I had something to do with adding to Marcus's work. He's so cross now. He reminds me about my review and tells us about the school concert. The choir will be singing, apparently. And if that's not enough, he gives us a parents' evening slip. How am I supposed to fit a band practice now? I managed to get through the rest of the lesson by concentrating very hard on two things. What I'm going to eat for lunch, the small black fly trying to land on Mr. Fullerman's round head while he's chatting, blah, 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 and it's safely making its way to his head. It takes a while, but the fly gets there in the end, and Mr. Fullerman says, glad to see you're paying such close attention to me, Tom, which makes me laugh. Then Amy mentions choir practice this lunchtime. Great, I can't wait, I say. Miss Knapp welcomes the new faces, me, to the choir. I never knew Solid was in the choir. He kept that quiet. And oh no, Marcus is here too. Great, I can't get away from him. Amy looks pleased to see me, so that's something. Miss Knapp puts me right next to Moany Marcus again. She begins to make us do ridiculous warm-up exercises for our voice. We pull a lot of silly faces and make odd noises. Then we learn the songs for the concerts, which is surprisingly fun. I'm almost starting to enjoy myself. Miss Nap asks us all to sway from side to side when we're singing. We're supposed to do all the swaying together in the same direction, but Marcus keeps swaying accidentally on purpose into me. So I sway into him, then he stamps into me, then he sways into me, and I stamps on my foot. So I give him a big shove, which gets him off my foot. Then he sways into me again, so I sway just that little bit too hard into him, and Marcus goes flying onto the floor as if he's been hit by an elephant. And now he's shivering on the ground shouting, "Tom pushed me! Tom pushed me!" He's so annoying. Miss Knapp helps Marcus up, then sends me out saying, "You should know better, Tom. Perhaps choir is not for you after all. I thought I was doing so well." I draw a picture of Marcus, which makes me feel better. Marcus is a slimy toad. That's much better. History. Back in class, Marcus is sitting as far away from me as possible. "Just as well," I say. "Marcus is an idiot," Amy tells me. She saw him push me and tread on my foot. Maybe choir practice was a good idea after all. While Amy is feeling a tiny bit sorry for me, I take the opportunity to ask her about Do 3. I remember Amy loves the band. "Are you going to see them?" I say. "I wish," she tells me. "I don't have a ticket." Then Marcus, who just can't help himself being a nosy twig, butts in, "I've got VIP tickets." His dad knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone who got them tickets. I tell him VIP tickets stand for very irritating person, and he believes me. So I invite Amy to the concert with me and Derek and my dad. I don't mention Uncle Kevin and Auntie Alice and the cousins, and she says okay and goes back to readings. "Brilliant," I say, and that's it. All sorted. We're all going to see my favorite band. That was easy. Then stupidly, I stop listening to the history lesson and imagine being at the concert instead, which is more fun. Do 3 are fantastic, playing all their great songs. Suddenly, in the middle of a guitar solo, the Do 3 guitarist is taken ill and has dramatically carried off the stage. The lead singer asks the crowd, "Does anyone know how to play Do 3 songs?" "Me!" I shout and jump on stage. Then the crowd cheers, Amy cheers, Derek cheers. I start to play, and the crowd are amazed. They begin to call my name. "Tom, Tom, 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 Tom!" Mr. Fullerman is shouting at me. I've missed most of the history lesson. Worth it though. We'll catch up tonight and get back into Mr. Fullerman's good book by not being late for the school trip tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to now. School trip! Mr. Fullerman is not pleased because I'm late again. It was Delia's fault. Well, that's what I tell him. Everyone is already on the couch and very excited, especially Norman Watson, who keeps sleeping up and down on the couch. I can see only one spare seat left right next to. No, not Miss Worthington. Free seat next to her. "Hello, Tom," she says. Derek has already saved me a place by him. He thinks it's funny to watch me panic. "Your face!" he laughs. "Ha ha, very funny," I say. The couch journey takes ages because some of the class need the toilet, and Julia Morton feels travel sick. She's gone a nasty shade of green, so we have to keep stopping. Eventually, we arrive at the museum. It's huge, with big stone steps to old wooden doors that have massive pillars either side. Lots of the other schools are there, all better behaved than us. We split up into 3 groups, with 1 teacher each. We've got Miss Knapp. We're all given an Egyptian quiz to do. I'm in Amy's group with Derek, so we rush around the museum, mostly copying what Amy writes. The quiz doesn't take long, so we get to check out the gift shop early. I know what I want to buy. At lunchtime, someone, okay me, gives Norman half a caramel waffle. I forget that sugar makes Norman even more hyper than usual. We're all sitting listening to the museum Egyptian expert. She is showing us a real mummy and telling us the great gory detail of how the Egyptians would use a long hook to pull out the dead person's brain through their nose before mummifying them. Julia Morton goes green and feels sick again. Norman can't sit still and wants to take a closer look at the mummy. He jumps up a bit too quickly and pushes Brad Galway, who bumps into Laurie, who falls on Solid, who accidentally shoves Miss Worthington, and then falls over and knocks into a very rare Egyptian vase. Thankfully, Mr. Fullerman manages to catch it. He's holding on to it really tightly and breathing a sign of relief, just when Julia Morton leans forward and is sick. I don't think that's what Egyptian vases were originally used for. The museum expert can't get rid of us quickly enough. While Julia is getting cleaned up, we all get to go to the gift shop and buy something brilliant. I bought some brilliant Egyptian tattoos. On the way home, the couch is much quieter because some kids have gone to sleep, including Marcus, which is excellent news because I don't have to listen talk to him. He's annoying. I'm so cross. He got kicked. He got me kicked out of the choir practice. It gives me a chance to try out my Egyptian tattoos. It works great. I put it on his forehead. I'm doing some more drawing, which gets me thinking about some other interesting stuff. Rules. Here are a few rules based on stuff that's happened to me, so it's all true. Rule 1. School photos are always hideous. It's the law, I think. Even a world-class photographer was to take a school photo, it would still be rubbish. Rule 2. Your sibling, in my case Delia, know ways to annoy you that nobody else does. Rule 3. Your parents get more embarrassing my age. My dad is now officially world champion of embarrassing dads. When we got back from the school trip, Dad was there to pick me up. He was wearing a nastily colored bobble hat with his name on it, muddy jeans tied up with a piece of string. No belt, just string. A grubby shirt with holes and patches, and filthy old welling boots with lots of mud on. Shame. He had a sad hat, patches, mud, everything, and he was calling my name. Tom, I've been gardening, he said, like that's an excuse. Well, I won't bother to pick you up again. If only. Matt Galloway and Mark Lumb both thought he was a tramp. Look at the tramp over there, they laughed. Imagine if he was your dad. He is my dad, I told them. I couldn't get home fast enough. I only forgave Dad when he pulled out the slightly muddy Do-3 tickets from his pocket. Brilliant! That's why he came to pick me up. I'm officially excited now and very happy. At home, Delia spoils everything by waving my school photo around and laughing at it. Freak photo or what? Annoyingly, I have to agree. It's awful. Terrible. A really rotten, cheesy picture. It's hideous. I've got odd hair and a red face. I knew it would be bad, but not that bad. Ugh! I grab it back from her. Try to hide it before Mom sees it. Delia says, "Too late, nerd boy." Apparently, Mom loves it and already ordered about 1 million copies for the entire family. I tell Derek about Do-3 tickets, and he tells me he got a new puppy. He's going to bring the puppy over to mine tonight for the band practice so I can see it. Also, Delia is allergic to dogs, and that will keep her away. Mr. Fullerman appears to be in a good mood, despite me only just making it to school on time and forgetting my review homework again. Today we're going to make models of pyramids, which sounds fun like a change. He puts us in a group. I'm with Norman, Amber, Pansy, Adriani, and Solid. I have to move tables. Solid has a good idea for the shape of the pyramid. It should be sort of pyramid shape. Genius! Idirani draws a card template and Amber cuts it out. Then we all help cover it in glue and paper, which makes it nice and sturdy model. Everyone is working together really well, unusually for class 5F. Our pyramid is actually starting to look a bit like a pyramid. Mr. Fullerman's attention is on Mark Club School. We aren't doing so well. Then Norman starts to get bored. He gets bored easily. Let's make a mummy, he suggests. Great idea. Norman gets 6 loo rolls from the school toilet and tries to wrap up solid, but there's not enough paper to cover him up. Too big and tall, so we use Norman instead. He's smaller but a lot more fidgety. Keep still, Norman, I tell him. It's not easy covering his legs and head with loo roll. When he's finally mummified, Norman starts to walk around with his mummy stretched out like a real mummy. He makes woo, woo noises. It's very realistic. He's good. He's carrying Amber. Mr. Fullerman looks over to see what we're up to. Suddenly, Mr. Keen, the headmaster, bursts into our classroom. One of his little visits. Norman is still behind the door. He doesn't move. Mr. Keen asks about the school trip and admires our pyramid work. Woo! Woo! What's that strange noise? The class starts laughing. Woo! Woo! There it is again. Mr. Keen's face starts to hover around the getting cross color on the redometer when he's called away by an announcement from Miss Mumble, and Mr. Keen closes the door. Everyone can see Norman making woo woo noises and pretending to be a mummy, including Mr. Fullerman, who's not such in a good mood now. Woo! Woo! It's been an eventful day at school. Caretaker Stan is replacing all the toilet rolls. I can't wait to meet Derek's new puppy now. He's very cute, unlike Derek, although I can see a slight similarity from the picture he emailed me. We let him run around my house into Delia's room, where he chews a few pairs of sunglasses and jumps on her bed. Good dog. Delia's furious, but she has to keep her distances because she's allergic to dogs. Derek and I are busy practicing some new Dog Zombies tunes. Derek's dog is howling around. Ooh! When Dad pops his head around the door, he wants to know if we need another guitarist for the band. We don't. Hello, he says. He says things like that in a jokey kind of way, but sometimes I think he really means it. Dad reminds us about the concert next week. Apparently, Delia's not coming with us because she's going with her friends out. I think she has a boyfriend, which is a horrible thought. At least she won't be able to spoil my fun like usual. Uncle Kevin, Auntie Alice, and the twins are meeting us at the concert. I feel sorry for anyone who ends up standing behind the twins. They won't be able to see a thing. Derek and I discuss wearing our Do 3 t-shirts. Must check what Dad plans to wear just in case it's too embarrassing. By the way, it will be embarrassing. I know that. Tom, where is your homework? Mr. Fullerman is in a really bad mood. I keep forgetting to bring in my review homework. I'm going to get another detention at this rate. He's not pleased at all. Plus, we have parents' evening tonight. I forgot about that as well. Now, Mom and Dad will be the last parents to see Mr. Fullerman because I didn't bring my form. Being last will give them far too much time to look at my work and chit-chat to everyone, teachers and other parents. It will be awful. Mr. Fullerman gives us 2 days' work. Class 5F. Today, I'd like you to write a piece about your hobbies. Anything you like to do outside of school. Sports, music, swimming, singing. Do you collect stamps? Do you like drawing? Why did you start the hobby? What does it mean to you? Do you have any special equipment? Have you won any prizes? Would you recommend this hobby to anyone else? Write at least one A4, please. Mr. Fullerman. Hobbies. My hobbies are annoying Delia, being in a band, and eating caramel waffles. I could write the whole A4 page on annoying Delia, but I'm sure that's not what Mr. Fullerman had in mind. What to write? I know. I'll make up a more interesting hobby for me to do. Something funny. Good idea. I like it. We spend most of the day sorting out our classroom and getting our books ready for parents' evening. Marcus leaves his books out on the desk while he goes to the toilet. Mistake! I slip in a few drawings I've done in the pages of his work. That should make his parents' evening more interesting. Mr. Fullerman is Pigman, and I draw a pig with Mr. Fullerman's head on, signed by Marcus. My parents are thick. Ha ha. Mr. Fullerman is an idiot. That's what I write. Parents' evening. Mom and Dad, as predicted, are not happy that they'll be last to see Mr. Fullerman. It's always a bit weird coming back into school in the evening, especially when the classroom is all clean and tidy, not like normal. Mr. Fullerman is wearing a suit and looks uncomfortable. Dad is wearing a terrible t-shirt, so I beg him to leave his jacket on. Mom insists on looking at every piece of work up on the wall. Worse still, she keeps talking to teachers that I don't have lessons with and parents of kids I don't even know. It's so embarrassing. I spot Solid, who doesn't look happy. He just looks like his dad, though. Parent evening sucks, he says. I agree. Then I see Amy. Her parents are with Mr. Fullerman already. They're both smiling and laughing. No problem with Amy's work then. Dad says he's got Amy's duty ticket in his pocket and he could give it to her folks now. Folks? Did he say folks? Please don't say folks. Please! So we wait for them to finish. Then Dad strikes up a conversation with Amy's dad about music in a really loud voice. Amy rolls her eyes and looks at me. Sorry, I whisper, and we both have to stand there waiting for our parents to stop embarrassing us. They chat for ages about all kinds of rubbish. Then Dad forgets to give them the ticket after all of that. Finally, when Mr. Fullerman has seen all the other parents, it's our turn. Oh, no. He brings out a folder that's full of letters. Tom's letters, he says. Can I start with Tom's letters from home, he says. Mom and Dad look a bit puzzled. Not the letters, no! I've been rumbled. Dear Mr. Fullerman, poor Tom has a cold and can't do sports outside. Ever. Love from Rita Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, please can Tom be excused spelling this weekend? He's had a difficult week. Family stuff. Thanks, Rita Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, Tom has been helping his sick grandmother and has not been able to do his homework. Sorry, Rita Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, Tom's delayed homework was due to his sister being nasty to him and not letting him use the computer. We have told her off. Thanks. Frank Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, Tom has been helping his sick grandfather and has not been able to do his homework. Whoops. Frank Gates. Dear Mr. Fullerman, please can Tom be excused from swimming? He is allergic to water. I mean chemicals in the water. Thank you. Rita Gates. It's not a good start to the evening. What can I say? It worked for a while. But the good news is I'm doing well at art and English. Spelling is only so and so. Could improve at maths. Could do better at science and history. good at PE. It's not all bad. Room for improvement, Mr. Fullerman says. They have a nice chat about me like I'm not there. I smile and agree not to chat so much. Doodle so much, fake letters from home again. Generally, I'm an okay kid. It's a reasonable good parents' evening. Then my mom and dad both read my new hobby, which I completely forgot about, and it all goes horribly wrong. From the looks on their faces, I can see they're not happy. My New Hobby by Tom Gates. My mom and dad like to use my pocket money as an extra way of making me do things I'm not very keen on doing. For instance, tidy your room, or no pocket money. Eat your vegetables, or no pocket money. Be nice to your sister, or no pocket money. Which I think possibly is against my human rights. And if that's not bad enough, Dad seems to take great pleasure in placing my money on very high places like doors, shelves, and anywhere I can't easily reach it. When I do finally get my hands on it, Mom often borrows it back to buy milk and newspapers. Emergency money is what she says. I discovered my new hobby completely by accident. Fed up of listening to Mom and Miss Fingal, Derek's mom, chit-chatting outside the shops for what seems like hours, I sit on the pavement and look really bored. My legs ache too. When somebody walks past me, he drops some money into my lap. Real money. It's brilliant. I think they must feel sorry for me. So I put even a sadder face and someone else gives me another £1. By the time Mom and Miss Fingal have finished talking, I've made £3.70 all on my own, which gets me thinking, what if I use a shakily written sign like "Please help me," and wear some old worn out clothes. So I give that a go too, and sure enough, I make more money. The great thing about my new hobby is you can do it anywhere and you get to meet lots of different people. And now I don't have to rely on my mom and dad for pocket money anymore. It's a hobby I would recommend everyone. I'm also in a band called Dog Zombies, but we don't make any money at all. Yet. The end. You've been begging? I can't believe it. Mom and Dad keep looking at me and shaking their head. I wasn't begging. It was just a story. On the way home, they remind me that not everyone is as lucky as you, Tom, and begging is no joke. I'm trying to convince them that I was not begging. I tell them I was using my imagination. I would never beg, ever. It was just a story, pretending. Ha ha. I think they believe me now. Phew. Delia hears Mom and Dad talking about my parents' evening and how they thought I'd been begging. She suddenly comes over and offers me a caramel waffle. Even though I know she's up to something, I stupidly go to take him. I hear you're good at begging. Beg for the waffle then, she says, and wafts the waffle in front of me. I want that waffle so badly, I actually say please. And she says, say pretty please. So I say pretty please. It's so humiliating. I can't hear you. Pretty please. Then to my surprise, Delia actually hands over the waffle and goes off laughing. It's only when I try to open the waffle I realize that I have fallen for the old empty biscuit wrapper trick. Very funny, Delia. Very funny. I suddenly feel inspired to write a new song. When Derek comes round later, I show him the new song I've just written for Dog Zombies. He likes it a lot. Delia is a weirdo. Who's that weirdo over there? Dressed in black with greasy hair. You can't trust her. She's not nice. She's got no heart. Just a block of ice. Chorus. Delia, she's a weirdo. Delia, she's a geek. Delia, she's a weirdo. Delia, she's a freak. Delia's a grumpy moo. Don't let her stand next to you. Big black glasses hide her eyes. She really smells, and that's no lie. Chorus. Back to school. Tom, I'm still waiting for your homework. I got carried away practicing Delia as a weirdo. It sounded really good. I have written a few more verses. We'll have to do homework tonight before do 3 concert. I'm so excited I'm so excited. I can hardly concentrate. Marcus is going on and on about his VIP tickets. VIP tickets. Did you know I have VIP? Yeah, I have VIP tickets. Yeah. Shut up, Marcus. Even Amy is fed up with him. Mr. Fullerman reminds us that Dude 3 isn't the only concert coming up. How did he know about Dude 3? Don't forget about the school concert, he tells us. When Mr. Fullerman starts the lesson, I'm trying to work out how many hours it will be before the concert starts. Loads! Too many! The clock in the classroom doesn't even seem to be moving at all. This is the longest lesson Mr. Fullerman has ever given us. I'm staring at the clock, and it's definitely not moving. The more I stare, the slower the time goes. Miss Mumble keeps interrupting the lesson with announcements that no one can understand. Hello, can't please come? Hello, the office, Mr. Fullerman, thank you. Did anyone understand that? Mr. Fullerman asks. Then she says it again. But no clearer. This lesson is never going to end. Mr. Fullerman leaves the classroom to check what's going on. It might be important, he says, as if. While he's gone, I have a brainwave. I stand on the table and move the hands on the clock forward, so the lesson is nearly finished. This goes down with my classmates. Hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Mr. Fullerman looks slightly confused when he comes back. He checks his own watch. Is the clock fast? No, Mr. Fullerman. Has anyone touched the clock? No, Mr. Fullerman. He noticed that the clock is slightly wonky on the wall. Mr. Fullerman is not convinced. He stands on the chair and puts the clock back to the right time. Just as Miss Mumble makes another announcement, it makes Mr. Fullerman jump, and he wobbles off the chair onto the floor. It's a disaster! We'll never get out of this lesson at this rate. Not that I'm being unsympathetic, but this is turning out to be the longest lesson ever. Mr. Fullerman is wincing in pain and takes twice as long to do or say anything, and the rest of the day doesn't go any faster. It's like someone knows it's the concert tonight and is deliberately slowing the world down. Math is a drag. PE takes forever. I'm getting changed out of my PE kit in the sports changing rooms, and then there's a really loud noise that starts blaring out of the speakers. Not Miss Mumble this time. Something even louder. Mr. Fullerman says it's fire alarm drill. Leave everyone and exit in an ordinary fashion. Do not run. Go outside. I managed to grab my shoes and follow everyone else outside to the playground. Even though we have to wait for the register to be taken and wait for all the other classes to come out, time suddenly seems flying by, mainly because Marcus has left his trousers behind and is standing in the playground with just his pants. Snaps gives him a jumper to tie around his waist. Now it looks like he's wearing a skirt. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in ages. Mr. Fullerman says we can all go home slightly early today. Hooray! I'm trying to tell Derek all about what happened to Marcus on the way home, especially the jumper skirt bit. When he tells me he got the proper name for his dog now, I try to guess what it is. Rang, no. Rocky, no. Rover, no. Fang, no. What then? It's Rooster. He says, Rooster? That's a kind of chicken, isn't it? You're naming your dog after a chicken? I suppose I'll get used to it. Clack. Do 3, here we come. Do 3 concert. Derek has brought Rooster over and he's running around our house looking for Delia. She's already gone to meet her boyfriend more like. Derek and I are wearing Do 3 t-shirts and looking cool. Derek is wearing another terrible t-shirt. Dad is wearing another terrible t-shirt and horrid trousers. He doesn't look cool. Mom agrees with me for and makes him change. And no crowd surfing, she tells Dad as she leaves the house. Change, she tells him. Then Dad remembers that the tickets were in the other trousers, so he goes back to get them, but he can't find them anywhere. This is dreadful. I panic. Don't panic. Derek is trying not to panic. We look around the house around the house, in Delia's room, my room, the kitchen. Don't worry, they're here somewhere, he says. He checks his pocket, the bedroom, the bathroom. We're officially frantic. Where are the tickets? Yap, 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 yap. Rooster is running around, chasing us from room to room. It's really annoying because he is barking and yapping, and it's making everyone stressed. Mom sends Rooster out to the garden. I'm checking my room now again, and when I look out the window, I see Rooster is playing with some bits of paper. The bits of paper look like they could have been the tickets. Bad, Rooster, Derek is saying, but it's too late. The tickets are all mangled and covered with teeth marks and drool. I'll stick them together, Dad says. It'll be fine. But it's not fine. The tickets are ruined. Maybe Uncle Kevin and Auntie Alice will sell us theirs, Dad says. Don't bank on it, Mom says. We'll think of something, Dad says. But I'm too stunned to say anything at all. We go to the gig anyway. I'm never going to get a dog, I say to Derek, which is a bit unfair. I know, because it's not his fault. I'm just really angry with this stupid chicken dog. Bad, Rooster. Amy is already there waiting with her dad. Let's see if they'll take the tickets anyway, says Dad. The man at the door takes one look at the tickets and shakes his head. Sorry, mate. Can't take these. They're all mashed up. Just when things couldn't get any worse, Marcus and his dad turn up clutching 4 VIP tickets. Turns out they have 2 spare VIP tickets, and Marcus's dad suggests that we could have them. Marcus doesn't take after his dad, who seems quite nice. I want to go so badly, but Mom and Dad say that Amy and Derek should go because we might be able to get in with Uncle Kevin. I'm very brave and tell Amy and Derek I don't mind and that I'll be fine. Then I watch all of them go off to the concert inside. I can't believe Derek and Amy have gone with Marcus. This is terrible. Uncle Kevin and Auntie Alice are waving and calling Dad. Uncle Kevin is looking particularly pleased with himself. Dad tells him what's happened and how we can't get in the concert with those mangled tickets. Uncle says, typical you. Uncle Kevin says, typical you. Which makes Dad cross. Uncle Kevin, being a salesman, has actually sold their tickets for 3 times as much as he paid for them. He is very happy and they're going for dinner instead of the concert. I think the cousins would rather have seen the band. Great! This is turning into a nightmare. I'll never get to see my favorite band now. Dad sees I'm really upset. Stay here. Don't move, he says. I'll get some tickets. Don't you worry. I'm so miserable. I sit on the floor and look really fed up. The concert is about to start, and we got no chance of seeing them at this rate. Then I've got an idea. It's a long shot, but I have nothing to lose. I'm desperate. I find a paper bag, and I already have a pen. Then I get writing and drawing. I write, please help. My dog ate my ticket. Please give generously. And I start begging. And I draw a rooster, and then write guilty. I'm attracting a bit of attention, but no tickets yet. A lady walks past and says, poor you, which is nice. Then I'm suddenly aware of a man in a leather trousers reading my note. He is shaking his head and looking at me. I put an extra sad face. Then he starts walking towards me, and there's something really familiar about him. I'm sure I've seen him before. Then he asks me a question. Is this your new hobby, Tom? Yes, and it suddenly dawns me on who he is. Blimey, it's Mr. Fullerman. Ugh, he's wearing leather trousers, and what's he doing here? It's a terrible moment, bumping into a teacher outside school. You don't really think of them having a life outside of being a teacher. It's a shock, especially the leather trousers. Dad comes back with no tickets. He's not pleased to see me begging. You told me it was a made-up story, Tom. It was. I was desperate. I said, stop begging right now. There must be another way to see Dutry. Then Mr. Fullerman says, hello, Mr. Gates. I think I might be able to help. And Dad looks as shocked as me to see me. It's Mr. Fullerman wearing leather trousers. I'm wondering what Mr. Fullerman is doing at Do 3 gig in the first place. And guess what? Turns out Mr. Fullerman actually went to school with Do 3's manager. They were good friends. They were best friends also. Mr. Fullerman is not just a crusty old teacher after all. He speaks to some backstage who gives us special passes. He just goes to him and keeps talking, and then he's like, "Thanks, man, no problem. Nice trousers. Now I can watch the whole gig from the side of the stage." I would hug Mr. Fullerman if he wasn't my teacher and wearing leather trousers. This is the best view ever. Do 3 are absolutely brilliant, and I can see everything. I see Derek and Amy and wave. Derek and Amy wave back. Marcus has his mouth open like a goldfish in shock. It's almost the best part of the gig. Ha ha. Then I spot Delia in the audience. She's with her boyfriend, so I point him out to that and stir things up by saying he's got a very bad reputation around in town. What a fantastic night I'm having. Do 3 play all their best songs, then right at the end, it gets better. Do 3 come off stage and the whole band high-five me. I'll never wash again. I'm still buzzing when I get home. Dad has forgotten about my begging note. Phew, he's too busy worrying about Delia's dodgy boyfriend. I go to bed happy and relive the whole gig in my head. This is probably the best day of my life. In the morning, Delia's slopping around the house, sulking and being miserable. Gah. Apparently, it's my fault because Mama and Dad wants to meet her new friend. I'm a genius. Dad is humming Do 3 songs at breakfast. Mom is wearing a Do 3 shirt. It's so embarrassing, old people trying to be trendy. I can't get out of the house quick enough. Derek and I go school together. He was so wishing he'd stuck to me at the concert. Seeing Mr. Fullerman again in teacher mode is really weird. The first thing he asks me is, "Where is your homework?" "I was at the concert, sir, remember?" Mr. Fullerman says that's no excuse and I'll get a detention if I don't bring it first thing tomorrow, which is a bit harsh. He's so back in teacher mode, with all excitement about Do 3, I have completely forgotten that the school concert, which is apparently today. I'm not worried because I'm not in it. No choir, which is a relief. Phew. Miss Knapp is looking for helpers to put chairs out in the hall. Helpers get to miss lessons, so I volunteer. All I have to do is show little kids what to do. How hard is that? We get all the chairs out, then we start to mess around. I get tough and suggest a quick game of musical chairs, which keeps them happy. There's no music, so I sing my dog zombie song. Delia's a weirdo. Delia's a weirdo, Delia's a freak. Delia's a weirdo, Delia's a freak. It's going all really well. The little kids all join in and sing along with me. Delia's a weirdo, Delia's a freak. Very catchy chorus there, and I sing the verse. Then Mr. Keen pops his head around the door to see how we're doing. We all pretend to be arranging the chairs. Little kids learn fast. "That's a jolly song, Tom," he says. "Really, Mr. Keen? Are you performing in the school concert?" "No, Mr. Keen." "Why not? You should be. I'll have a word with Mr. Keen to give you a slot at the end." "No, Mr. Keen. It's fine. I really don't want to sing." "Nonsense. That sounded excellent. Don't you agree, children?" All the little kids cheer and say, "Yes." That's all I need. This could be very humiliating. Correction. It will be very humiliating. I look like a fool now. I don't think Mr. Keen heard all the lyrics to Dog Zombie's song either. "Are you mad? Of course I don't want to play in the school concert," Derek says. "No way!" He thinks dog zombies have to plan their first gig very carefully. In other words, we're still a bit rubbish and we need more practice. But he does have a brilliant plan that will get me off the hook and save me from serious preparation. The only good thing about the school concert is we get to go home early and prepare, eat caramel waffles in my case. Mom says, "What do you mean there's a school concert tonight?" I forgot to tell them. "And you're in it?" "Sort of. Mom and Dad plan to meet Dahlia's dodgy boyfriend tonight. I'm not leaving them on their own here. They'll both have to come to the concert too," Dad says. "Ha ha, Delia will be delighted." "I hate you," Delia says. "A romantic night out at my school concert. She'll be so cross. It's almost worth being in the school concert for." Derek and I run through our plan one last time on the way back to school. It has to work or I'll be stuffed. Back to school. The door is already packed with people. Mom and Dad sit at the back, which is a relief. Mom has on her duty t-shirt and Dad is wearing her gardening gear. Delia and her boyfriend look jolly. Not. Derek and I run through our plan at least one more time. I hope it works. The lights go down and the concert begins. First, there is some slightly boring poetry. The star was bright. We got a big fright that night. Then we have to sit through some songs and, of course, the choir watching Marcus and Solid swaying from side to side was hilarious. Amy is very good, of course. And there's a play by year 3, quite funny, and a dance by year 6. It's rubbish. Then Mr. Keen makes a speech about what a good term it's been, blah, blah, blah. Then I hear him telling everyone how he heard me singing and thought I should be in the concert. It's awful. I can feel myself getting nervous and sweaty. Now it's my turn. Mr. Keen asks me what my song is called. "Dahlia's a weirdo," I say, which makes everyone laugh, apart from Delia, who's giving me the evil eyes. I sit on the stage and clear my throat. Everyone is looking at me and waiting. So I clear my throat and wait, and I strum a little, like I'm warming up. Mr. Keen is glaring at me now, so I think I might have to actually start singing if Derek's plan doesn't work. When at long last, a very loud blaring noise goes off. Mr. Fullerman tells everyone not to panic. It's just a fire alarm. We all have to leave the hall straight away. The concert is abandoned. Derek is a genius. He gives me a thumbs up as we leave school. Better still, Delia can hear some little children singing my song. "Dahlia's a weirdo, Dahlia's a freak. Dahlia's a weirdo, Dahlia's a freak." She's not very happy, but your boyfriend is laughing. He won't be her boyfriend for very long at this rate. "What's funny?" she asks him. "Mom and Dad thinks it's a shame I didn't get to do my song. I don't. Maybe next time. Don't write about your sister, though. Mom tells me it only upsets her." "Exactly!" Dad suggests writing about someone else who annoys me instead. "Like Uncle Gavin," he adds, which makes me laugh. But Mom is giving him evil eyes now. When we get home, Dad and I escape to his shed to eat caramel waffles. To eat his secret stash of caramel waffles treats. It's the last day of the term tomorrow, so I mustn't forget. I only have tonight to finish my review homework. It's the last piece I have left to do. I know I'll review the school concert. That won't take long to do. Just eat the last wafer biscuit and wrap it up for Delia first. Haha. Then I draw a few more pictures. Then I'll start my homework. In the morning, I'll have loads of time to do if I get up early. This is a good idea. Mr. Fullerman, I'm so sorry about my review homework. As you can see, I did it. Let me explain. I was on my way when I was followed and attacked by a vicious dog. I defended myself with the only thing I could think of, an exercise book. Luckily, I survived but my review homework did it again. Sorry again. Oh dear, Tom. I was looking forward to finally reading it. You will just have to do it again over the holidays. In the meantime, let's hope you don't get abducted by aliens or attacked by giants. What an eventful life you have. See you and your homework next term. Mr. Fullerman. I just ripped the page and write at the top, my review by Tom Gates, and the end at the dog, and then cut it in the shape of teeth and put some water on it to look like dog drool. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. I'm a genius.